As the great sage Hermes Trismegistus taught in one of the 7 Hermetic principles, nothing remains still, nothing is at rest. Everything is constantly moving, everything vibrates. And when I say everything, I mean it literally. The visible, the invisible, what you think is solid, and what you take for granted. Reality is not static, it's a dynamic field in constant oscillation. What we call solid matter is nothing more than energy vibrating at a certain frequency. Your body, a table, a wall, even the air. Everything is energy organized in different ways. The difference is not in what it is, but in how it vibrates. Solidity is an illusion created by our senses. And within that same principle, your thoughts are no exception. Each thought emits a specific frequency. It's not a metaphor. It's an actual emission. Your emotions add to that frequency, acting as amplifiers. Together, thought and emotion determine your body's vibration, your internal state, and from there, the experience you have. It's not that life happens to you, it's that you are constantly tuning into experiences according to the frequency you emit. From that point, your results, your encounters, your opportunities, and also your blockages are shaped. That's why, if we want to manifest something in our lives, it's not enough to just wish for it intensely. Desire alone does not create. It's necessary to align ourselves with the frequency of what we want to attract. Before something arrives, we must become vibrationally someone who already has it. The energy that comes into your life is never random. It always responds to the vibration you're emitting, even if you're not aware of it. You attract what is in tune with you, not what you repeat with words. When positive thoughts and emotions prevail, reality starts to respond in the same direction. More favorable situations appear, more coincidences, more opportunities, not because everything is beautiful, but because you are operating from a frequency compatible with those experiences. This is the law of resonance in action, like attracts like. And although it sounds inspiring, it also has an uncomfortable side, because it works the same way when we vibrate from fear, complaining, or frustration. Think of a poker player who enters a flow state and starts winning game after game. It's not just skill. It's an internal state, confidence, focus, presence, or think of that popular saying, things come in threes. Streaks, whether good or bad, are not a coincidence. They are deeply connected to the emotional resonance we find ourselves in. When something positive happens, our emotional state automatically changes. We feel lighter, more confident, more open. And from that state, without forcing anything, we start to attract more similar experiences. It's an energetic domino effect. We can understand it as flows of energy. Imagine 2 big rivers, one of positive energy and another of negative energy. Each one is fed by small tributaries of the same type of vibration. Thoughts, emotions, reactions, interpretations. When you enter one of those rivers, you begin to flow with its current. And the events that appear in your life follow that direction, not because the universe punishes or rewards you, but because you are navigating that energetic channel. The news is that we are not doomed to remain in any of those rivers. There is always the possibility of getting closer to the shore and getting out of the negative current. The real problem is not being there, but not realizing that it's dragging you along. We can't always control what happens externally. Life doesn't work that way. But we can observe what emotions those events awaken in us. And when we notice that we're entering a negative emotional spiral, we can stop it before it turns into a prolonged downward spiral. Awareness is the first step and also the most important one. Becoming aware of what we feel, without judging it, already starts to change the direction of the current. From there are multiple tools: meditation, conscious breathing, walking, moving your body, exercising, talking with someone you trust. Everything that elevates your internal state helps. However, many times we do the opposite. Instead of getting out of the negative emotional state, we sink deeper, we victimize ourselves, we tell ourselves stories, we repeat that nobody understands us, that life is unfair. But let's be clear, none of that brings us closer to happiness. And even if we don't like to admit it, it's in our hands to change the course. The emotions we usually call negative are not the enemy. They're not here to harm us. They're energetic currents seeking expression. Anxiety, stress, or sadness are not always a problem. Many times they're accumulated energy that needs movement, understanding, and release. The key is not to repress them, take them on, or ignore them, because that only makes them stronger. The key is to recognize them, allow them, and consciously process them to release them. Forgiveness, both towards yourself and towards others, can be one of the most powerful and transformative tools. Also, many of these heavy emotions don't appear by chance. They are messages, signals sent by your higher self, your soul, your inner wisdom, call it whatever you want. Their purpose is to warn you that something is not aligned with you. For example, feeling anxious every day before going to a job that doesn't fulfill you, where you know you're only there for the money, while deep down you feel you could be doing something much more authentic. That anxiety is not the enemy. It's a clear signal. If you ignore that signal, frustration sets in. Because even if you don't say it out loud, you know you're swimming against the current. But when you detect it and act, that emotion turns into drive, into strength, into direction. And many times that drive leads you to a much more aligned and positive future. That's why it's so important to detect these emotions in time and act as soon as possible. When they last too long, they not only cause dissatisfaction or deep sadness, but they can also end up manifesting in the body as illness. Being aware of your mental and emotional processes gives you a huge advantage. It allows you to recognize when you're trapped in heavy emotions, consciously release them, and maintain a higher frequency. And from there, everything starts to change. You are a channel of energy. Not in a symbolic sense, but literally. You are a living conduit through which a powerful flow constantly circulates, even if you are not aware of it. Energy enters, transforms, and leaves through you at all times. It never stops. Through the crown chakra, you connect with the unlimited energy of the primordial source, with that universal field of information, consciousness, and pure potential. And through the root chakra, you anchor yourself to the dense, nourishing, and stabilizing energy of the earth. Two currents that seem to be opposites but are actually perfectly complementary. Heaven and earth, expansion and rootedness, consciousness and matter. These two energies don't compete with each other. They seek each other out. And the exact point where they meet is the center of your chest, the heart chakra. Something key happens there in that space, and the currents intertwine and begin to organize themselves, forming complex energetic layers like a constantly moving disc. That disc is the heart toroid. This field isn't small, it isn't limited to your physical body. It encompasses your entire personal universe, everything you perceive, everything you interact with, all the planes and dimensions you're connected to. They exist within that energy field. Nothing is outside of it. Your essence is literally woven into this structure. You are not something separate observing reality from the outside. You are an active part of the field that generates it. And this toroid acts like an extremely precise magnet. It doesn't attract what you want. It attracts what vibrates in coherence with you. From the heart, which is the core of the toroid, frequencies are constantly being emitted. These frequencies travel, interact, and resonate with the very fabric of creation. When something vibrates in tune with you, it becomes visible within your experience. It doesn't appear just because, it appears because there is a vibrational match. The mind has a specific function. It sends the instruction, it defines the direction. But it's the heart that emits the real signal. The heart translates the thought into frequency. And from there, manifestation is neither magic nor mystery. It's a matter of time, consistency, and energetic coherence. Here is one of the most important points of this whole process. Learning to synchronize the mind with the heart. That they don't operate separately, that you don't think one thing while feeling another. Because when that happens, the signal gets distorted. When thought and emotion work together aligned, something powerful happens. You become the alchemist of your own life. No robes, no strange rituals, no fantasy, just internal coherence. And the results are real, tangible. From a scientific perspective, a toroid is a self-regulating system. Everything converges toward a center, organizes itself into a harmonious unity, and then expands outward, only to return again to its origin. A continuous, infinite cycle. And it is within that cycle that you play an active part, attracting and creating the circumstances that shape your existence. None of this happens in a vacuum. The world around you is neither chaotic nor random. It's a complex network of patterns, fields, and energies interacting with each other. And these energies, by their very nature, tend to attract each other when they vibrate in a similar way. It's not a motivational phrase, it's an operative law of the universe. When you truly understand this and integrate it, your way of seeing reality changes completely. You start taking responsibility for your energy. Even so, there are moments when, despite maintaining positive thoughts, unpleasant situations appear that seem to make no sense. And then the inevitable question arises. What's going on here? Why is this happening to me if I'm doing everything right? When you know what you want, but it's still not present in your life, it's very easy to blame external factors, to think that something or someone is blocking you, that the timing isn't right, or that the universe is testing you. But most of the time, the real obstacle is internal. The inconsistency between what you think and what you really feel. Wishing from a place of lack doesn't work because resonance doesn't come from rational thought, but from deep emotion. Emotion is the code the heart operates with. And the heart is the broadcasting center of the vibrations that shape your reality. That's why desire must be accompanied by coherent thoughts and emotions. Not desiring something because you don't have it, but feeling and assuming that it is already a part of you. That there is no emptiness, no urgency, no lack. When you emit that frequency, attraction becomes natural, not forced. It's like mentally traveling to the future and bringing it to the present, not waiting for it to arrive, but acting from the certainty that it's already here. And from that point, you become the conscious architect of your reality. If you focus only intellectually on what you want, without involving the emotions and the vibration they generate, the result will be limited. The mind alone does not manifest, nor does a disconnected heart. Your emotions work as an internal navigation system. They constantly indicate whether you are getting closer to or farther away from what you desire. Every thought and every emotion move you in a direction, even if you don't notice it. Ascending the vibrational emotional scale requires sensitivity, attention, and presence. If you're not aware of how you feel, you can't know where you're headed. For a desire to manifest, you must first reach vibrational harmony with it. Before it does, always before. Many people give up on their desires not because they're impossible, but because they're not aware of the frequency they're operating from. It's when you understand the law of attraction and learn to observe the feelings your thoughts generate that you stop fearing unwanted manifestations. You understand that nothing bad appears by accident. The universe is not separate from you. Everything is interconnected. If there is no vibrational harmony, there is no manifestation. But when you align thought and emotion, the resulting vibration begins to attract events in harmony with what you desire. And little by little, without forcing, without struggling, you begin to sculpt the reality that was always waiting for you to tune into it. And now, listen to this carefully. If you've made it this far, it wasn't by chance. It wasn't the algorithm, it wasn't YouTube, and it definitely wasn't luck. You got here because something inside you recognized the truth. Because while the world sleeps inside a prefabricated reality, you started to notice the cracks, small glitches, impossible synchronicities, thoughts that manifest, people who show up just when you need them. And in that moment, something breaks, not outside, but inside. That's when you understand that reality isn't imposed. Reality responds. Jacobo Grinberg knew this. Not as a theory, not as a belief, but as a direct experience. The mind doesn't observe the universe, it co-creates it. And you, whether you want to or not, are already playing that game. The only question is, are you going to keep reacting to reality? Or will you learn to direct it? Because there's something they didn't tell you, something that almost no one understands. And once you see it, you can't stop seeing it. Reality has hidden rules. The system has blind spots. And most people never learn to use them, but some do. And when they do, they become unpredictable, free, dangerous to the system. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to outsmart the very game of reality, how to detect invisible programming, how to get out of autopilot, and how to consciously use what the 98% will never see. It's not motivation, it's not cheap spirituality, it's real deprogramming. So if you feel like this video spoke to you directly, don't ignore that feeling. Subscribe, stay close, and remember this. Reality doesn't break when you challenge it. It breaks when you understand it. See you at the next level.